Hello, Phil here from Wings of Pegasus, and welcome to another video. If you enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. So, long-time viewers will know that on the channel we have looked at different talent shows and singing competitions to see whether particular performances are pitch corrected, auto-tuned, all that kind of stuff. And we have found in the past that it does go on, but also it's really interesting to get different points of view. And tonight I'm going to be chatting with Jeff Scott Soto, so we're going to be getting his view on talent shows and also what he thinks about them and how he would approach things if he were younger and that was the only option for him as a singer. Because I think nowadays it tends to be the case that the younger generation think that that's the way to do it, to go on a talent show or a reality TV show and become famous and then be successful. But as we will discuss in this video, it's not all about being famous. There are things that you really have to understand about the industry before you even get into it. But we will jump into it.
Have you ever been asked to check a performance from one of these live TV shows like The Voice or American Idol? Because I remember a few years ago, a singer friend of mine asked me if I think they auto-tune before it's on TV, before it's actually played live. And so I decided, you know what, I'm going to actually watch the next few episodes. I'm really meticulously going to watch the performance as well as listen. Yeah. And I'm like, no, I hear a little pitchiness here and there, a little non-perfections or imperfections, and my conclusion was no, they don't do that. But recently I did watch one and I'm like, holy smokes, this is totally, you can even hear the I don't know what you call it when you hear the note jump.
It's a flip.
It's
a flip.
So,
yeah.
I heard the flip like 8 times. I'm like, okay, now this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it was a singer that normally is very good. Maybe they had an off day, maybe they were sick or whatever, but I could absolutely hear it at that point. So I had to write to my friend and say, I think you may be right.
Yeah.
So have you encountered your own?
Yeah. So I've had multiple requests, and I've looked at The Voice, Britain's Got Talent, and The X Factor. I think those are the 3 that I've done. And there's also The Voice Kids, but that's all under kind of the same thing as The Voice. Maybe last week, the week before. Here in the UK, it's Britain's Got Talent at the moment. And there's a guy who did an audition and he sounds really similar to Freddie Mercury, as luck would have it. So in his audition, it was clearly auto-tuned. I mean, really.
I saw that video that you put out.
Yeah, really badly. And Michael, the guy who did the audition, contacted me on Instagram afterwards. And he was great because he said, I really like the channel and that you're objective and everything. And he just explained to me that the auto-tune, he had no idea that that was going to be applied to his voice. And it's been done in post-production. And they've released that. And I'm probably going to do a follow-up video to this because for me, ethically, I'm not sure whether it's okay that they can change your performance and put it on national TV. Because then, he quite rightly said, well, I didn't use auto-tune. That's something that they've put on my voice. So he actually had to record another performance and put it across his social media because people were saying, oh, well, Freddie Mercury didn't use auto-tune. And they were actually having a go at the guy. But the guy said, no, it's not me. It's the show that have done it. So then, I'll feature on my channel probably relatively soon him actually singing it, to say that he can do it, but it's the show that is changing his voice.
That decides,
Yeah. So again, it's very difficult because, I mean, all of the shows that I've looked at, they've all either been pitch corrected or auto-tuned.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult when it's under that competition kind of banner where you think, well, are they pitch correcting some singers' voices that they want to go on a bit further?
And, I see.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately,
I didn't even think about that factor. It's entertainment,
and
I watch those shows. Of course, I watch them because I'm a singer. I want to see what the next generation or the kids or whatever you want to call people that are out there doing that are not signed or are completely unnoticed, what's out there, because I just want to see what's happening in the world of music. I want to see where the levels of where people are taking things now. I'm just fascinated by that. I love singers. I love watching people with talent show me what they've got. So I watch it for that reason alone. I don't fall into the whole, you're going to be a superstar, you're going to be whatever. For me, it's entertainment first, and secondly, I watch it because I like watching singers.
Yeah.
But I do agree with the fact, without hitting the trenches and doing it the old-fashioned way, you're not really knowing what to expect once you get to that level. You don't know how intense or how insane it's going to be. You're thrown into the lion's den of how artists are seen and perceived after they've already done everything that we did to get there. So you don't realize that your days are numbered. Your life is no longer yours. You're going to be doing a lot of press. Your voice is going to be shot. You're going to be sick, and you have to deliver. You're a product of what they're selling now, and you're not your own artist where you can say, I've worked this hard, I got to this point, now I want to take a step back. You don't have that luxury. You are owned by the people that are giving you that exposure. So on that respect, I do agree that it's a little strange to, when I see an artist go on there and they say, this is my last chance, if I don't get this, it's over. And it's like, geez, you haven't even lived yet. You haven't even experienced that. Of course, there are some that say, I play 6 nights a week. I play 5-hour sets. Those are the ones that are gearing up for success. They're the ones that are knowing what to do when it does happen, if it does happen.
It's, I think, a huge part of, if you do then get to a point where you now get some exposure and you're doing what you've always kind of set yourself up for doing, that you've wanted to do for your whole life, you're ready to take that on, because you might have been, for example, working for 5 or 10 years at it, but not making any money from it, and you're doing your job,
or even garnering any kind of success. Yeah, you're
exactly.
Just stagnant.
You're
really like, oh geez, I got to do something now and quick.
Yeah.
And I thought about it so many times. I've come back and forth, but the overall response or answer, or my whole idea behind it is, if I were completely unknown, if I were 21, 22, and I had what I had back then, if I could still sing now the way I sang when I was in my early 20s or even 30s, and based on all the competition, you don't even have an industry anymore. You don't even have a label where they get behind you and they push you and they'll finance you, give you 4 or 5 albums before you break. All that's gone. Label development's gone. In this day and age, if I were at that age, I would probably do it. I'd probably go on one of those shows for the quick fix of, notice me, notice what I can do, let me blow everybody away, and let me win this thing, and then I'll take it from there. I would probably have that mentality if I were in my early 20s without everything that I've done to this point. I wouldn't do it now. God, no. Especially because there are insanely talented people out there. There are people out there that I wouldn't even want to sing in the same room with, or after or before. So from that alone, that would get in my head alone, and I would say, this is not for me. But the idea of just kind of cheating and kind of overstepping some of the stones that you have to do to get to that point, to me, that to me is just wrong. It's wrong to not have that, some kind of experience, or just your own personal diary, I guess, of how you got there. Without that, it's just a good voice. You tell them what to do. You dress them up nicely, and they're just a puppet and a pawn for, selling paper towels or something. I don't know.
A lot of people have this attitude of, whoever has become successful, they were lucky. It's something that I hear all the time, that, oh, well, they were lucky to get there, or they got a break at a particular point, or they were noticed, and all this kind of stuff. But I always refer to it as those are the lottery stories, where there might be someone who was very lucky and was heard, singing on a train, for example, by a record label owner. But the people, I guess, miss the point that there are a lot of successful people who are there, not because they are the best, they're the most talented, but they outworked the other people who might have been more talented. And yeah, I'm a huge believer in that. Of, you know, I guess it's almost that competitive mindset. And because I used to do a lot of sport when I was younger, I think that competitive mindset of thinking, if I'm not working at what I'm doing, somebody else is. And then if they overtake you, you've got to own that and think, well, yeah, I didn't do what I knew I could have done because I either didn't feel like doing it, or, you know, I wanted to do, go and watch a movie or something instead. And yeah, it's that. And I guess this is all still to do with having that preparation for if you do get a break, if you do get a little bit of notoriety and exposure. And like you said, you know, going on the shows nowadays are great for that, to get your exposure. I think maybe what the problem is, that people go on those shows thinking that that's the quick fix, and then say, for example, they get loads of exposure and millions of people have seen them, and millions of people say, where can I get your album? And they might say, oh, well, I haven't done an album. Well, where's your website? Oh, I haven't got a website. And suddenly it all of this potential success falls apart because you haven't done the work to have everything available. So
you haven't built the little the stepping stones.
So a huge thank you to Jeff for joining me on the channel, and it's always interesting to get another point of view, but especially from someone like Jeff, who's been there, done it, got the t-shirt. And I probably will do more videos like this in the future, because myself and Jeff spoke about very many different things, music related, not music related as well, but, you know, vocals related, live performances, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I will be uploading those videos in the future on the channel as well. But thank you guys for watching this one. As always, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys at the next one. Rock!